Hey, Brittney.
Hi. I
How
figured it out.
you got it?
It
It wasn't too hard, right?
wasn't too
Yeah.
hard, no.
These things though, they have a way of tricking even the most expert techs up. Some they just I don't know. One thing leads to another with Instagram for me these days. So, but
Yeah,
glad quick and easy this time. So, welcome.
thank you.
How are you
I've
doing?
been excited slash, uh, I wouldn't say like nervous, not anxious, but maybe they're one and the same with this.
Mm,
I don't love public speaking, which is interesting since I talk to people for a living, but yeah. How have
yeah,
you been?
yeah. Well, I understand, and I want you to know that this is a safe, relaxed place, just a easy conversation, just to get to know each other and to, help people get to know you a bit more too, as a new Awakenpedia partner, which is very exciting. And just to give people, the opportunity to hear more about your story and what led you to where you are now and why you're doing what you're doing. Uh, so kind of just like a nice, easy conversation as a way for people to get to know you better.
Yeah,
Um, yeah,
that's
but I'm
great.
doing good. As I'm sure you're well aware, we've been very busy over here. Um, have a variety of initiatives going on and different things, and Awakenpedia is blossoming, which is wonderful to see, and have a wide range of wonderful new partners coming on board like yourself. So
Yeah,
really
I've
excited.
been seeing that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's amazing.
But thank you. And um, if it's okay with you, I think what I wanted to do was just kind of dive right in. Um, and guys, again, for people who are joining, Brittney is a new partner of Awakenpedia. Um, and she focuses on hypnosis, which is such an interesting field. So I'm excited to dive deep into it with you. Um, but to begin, what I'd like to hear about, Brittney, is just about you, and your story. And if you're willing to share whatever you're comfortable sharing, you know, about your healing journey and how you got here. And I know just from reading your bio, interacting with you, that addiction was a pathway to awakening for you, as it was for me. Addiction was something that I struggled with for decades. And for me, I often say, and I made a teaching about this, but addiction was my pathway to awakening because it helped me to realize that I am not my mind. And that constant schizophrenic state of having one of you needing or wanting the drug, the substance, the object of the addiction, and then another you that's saying and knows better, the higher self that knows it doesn't serve you. That dichotomy of self really ultimately led to the realization that the self that was pushing me to do these things was simply a making of my mind and nothing more.
Exactly.
And so I let that go. Anyway,
Yeah.
long-winded context what I'm saying, I really resonate with your journey, and how it's kind of like led you into this healing path, but would love to hear it from your mouth and your story, your perspective about healing and how it's led to you getting into hypnosis.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've watched a few of your lives and watched you ask people to talk about their healing journey. And I honestly think that I've lived a few different lives up until this point. It's very strange to think back on it because it doesn't even feel like my life. Um, but I was married and had children very young and had very severe postpartum depression after my second child was
Mm,
born. And I was put on antidepressants, anti anxiety medication. I went to therapy for a long time and struggled with suicide and things like that. So that in and of itself was a really hard struggle. Um, my marriage fell apart. I'm going to try really hard not to cry through some of this because I don't share this part of it with my clients all the time, even though they know this about me. It's not something I rehash all the time,
Okay.
but I'm really happy to share it. It's part of my journey and what led me to what I love to do. But I got a divorce and struggled for quite a while. And then that led me to, unfortunately, addiction. I was very reliant on my medication. And then that kind of trickled over into, I became reliant on other drugs and not always like street drugs, I would say. I did try a couple. I was very depressed, but I ended up taking a drug from someone I had dated, and that's what I became addicted to. And I went into a clinic, and they essentially gave me what I was addicted to for years, and I stayed on it. And then I got myself off of it, which I am very glad I did, but that was a
Congratulations.
very scary thing to do. Thank you.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of support for that, and the clinic I was going to didn't offer a lot of resources. I only kept hearing the risks of coming off and that I would relapse in 6 months to a year. So it was kind of like, don't do it. It's not going to end well. And I have this type of mind that if I'm told not to do something, I'm most likely going to do it. So that benefited me in this sense to where I've now been clean. I don't love that word for addicts, but I have been clean
Yeah.
for almost 7 years now. So that's,
Amazing.
thank you. That was that part of my life. And shortly, and I came off everything. Again, wasn't a smart thing to do. I came off all my antidepressants, anxiety medication, and the medication I was taking through the clinic. And so I just was exposed to all of my emotions. I had zero coping skills, even though I went to therapy for years. I felt like I had no way of handling everything that was hitting me all at once. So I was really searching for ways to deal with my emotions and process them and not jump back into medication because I knew that was kind of a dangerous area for me. And one of my sisters practices Reiki and she's a medium, so she's super cool. Both my
Wow.
sisters are super cool, but yeah, she's
Awaken.
extra cool. She's what?
I was saying we should get them on Awakenpedia. We need mediums.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah,
You know.
yeah. I've been asked if I have that ability, and I'm very kind of depressed and bitter to say, no, I don't have that ability, but I have other cool abilities.
Yeah.
But so she introduced me to Reiki,
Yeah.
and that kind of was my gateway drug into the alternative healing world. I started researching everything I could to try and find what was a good fit for me. And I tried so many different things, just kind of dabbled in a few different things. And when I found hypnosis, it was like made for me, even though so many people do it. It's not a new thing by any means. It's been around for thousands of years, but it just felt right for me. And I did it on my own for a while. And then I was like, I have to learn how to do this. I want to be able to do it for others. And I really want to be able to help others heal with this modality because it's all natural. You know, there's only benefits to it. I've never had a session or anything with a client that ended in a negative way. There's always been positives to it. So that's just a very condensed version of my journey finding it and now working in it. It's been
Yeah,
pretty wild.
man. Well, um, your story is an inspiration, and I say that from the depths of my heart as someone who's gone through something similar. Um, and I am aware of the courage, authenticity, and discipline it takes to really uproot, or I should say, heal in more just real terms, because that's what this is, right? It's a healing journey. And as you ascend yourself in vibration, as you rise in consciousness, addiction no longer vibrates. It can't calibrate at that level. And so it kind of melts off you. And that's where I probably am sure for yourself, people may ask you, like they've asked me, well, it's like, I mean, how did you just, because like you, I let go of everything too, right? It wasn't just alcohol and nicotine, which I was using, but it was just addictive behavior as a escapist strategy and coping mechanism to experience and process life. And um, the answer for me was that as I experienced and went through this profound shift in consciousness, addiction simply no longer was compatible, vibrationally speaking, because I was up here and addiction only exists down here at the egoic level of consciousness. So that's where it's like the I see to your vision as well that um, alternative, holistic, natural means of healing is truly the most fundamental and sustainable way to let go of addiction. And hypnosis as a modality to address that is so powerful because addiction is like a habit on steroids, and that exists in the subconscious as a belief system, a deeply ingrained belief system. And so to use hypnosis, which is, and you can speak to this better than me, but as the modality to intentionally access and examine the inner workings of your subconscious mind, to reprogram those beliefs and to rewire the mind is a fantastic way to heal from addiction. But hypnosis spreads much further than just addiction, right? It's really a more holistic approach to heal in general, whatever it is that you're hanging on to. So maybe would you mind talking a bit about what hypnosis means to you, how you think it serves your clients, and just people who perhaps are newer to the hypnosis space that don't have a good sense of awareness of what it is.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that'd probably be my whole family who calls it, witchcraft or voodoo, which I'm like, that's not really helpful when I'm trying to promote what I do. And it's it's really lovely. I love it so, so much. And how I work with it, there's a lot of different ways you can do hypnosis. And, a lot of people only have what the media presents to them, which is not at all what I do in a clinical sense and to help people heal. And I also don't just focus on like one thing. So if somebody's coming to me for anxiety, which is what I work with probably the most, and I love to work with anxiety, but it's always intertwined with all of these other issues and thoughts and feelings that we're healing at the same time. So what I do is mainly age regression hypnosis. So we're going back to the source of the issue. So some people come to me and they want to kind of make it their own little session and say, I only want to heal this one thing. I want to work on this one issue. Like I don't want to drink soda anymore. So I just want to heal that and then I'll be great. And we can't really make these designer well, I don't like to make these designer hypnosis sessions. I really want to do this transformative work that's going to get to these deeper level issues that are buried in your subconscious. So, what's something that happened when you were younger? And that doesn't mean like a horrific traumatic event that happened that I'm rooting around for and hoping for, like, oh, I hope this happened and we get to heal that. No, that's never the case. I'm talking about maybe you weren't just fully understood as a child and you were maybe the black sheep in your family and that kind of shaped you as a person, and now you're struggling as an adult with that. That can be something that's causing anxiety, or maybe now you're struggling with an addiction because of that, or all of these different issues could be happening, and that could be because of something that happened in your childhood. I'm not also trying to go back and play the blame game, like your mom did this, so now we need to heal from there. As a parent, I don't want to be called out on my parenting. There's so many things I do
Yeah.
on a daily basis. So I really try and do it with as much love as I possibly can, and try and look at it from all angles, and want people to feel very safe when they're in this space with me. And also know that what we're discussing and talking about that's coming from the subconscious isn't, they're not these deep, dark secrets that you would never reveal to anybody. That's a fear that a lot of people have. Am I gonna, while I'm in a trance, spill all my secrets? That doesn't happen. You're in total control. Hypnosis is actually like a heightened state of awareness.
Mm.
And I always tell people, you can go on YouTube and do one of those. They have free hypnosis sessions that you can try, just like a guided self hypnosis you can try if you want to see what it feels like.
Mm.
Or I have a session you can just try and see what it feels like, but we don't really do a lot of deep level healing in that session. That's just a very big question I get asked, is what does it feel like? Am I going to be stuck in a trance? Are
Yeah.
you going to read my mind? All of these things that it's great for the movies, but it really does not help my profession whatsoever. But so
I'm
that's mainly what I do in a nutshell.
awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. And, I would like to just quickly go into that to set the record straight once and for all, perhaps, about,
Please
you
do.
know, and I'd like for you to just share what exactly then is happening when we're doing a hypnosis session with somebody, right? And, the movies may portray the hypnotic state of trance-like behavior that is then makes them controllable and manipulated in whatever way. But you describe it as a heightened state of awareness. And so,
Right.
could you just like describe what it's like um, when you're working with a client and you're doing hypnosis? What are you doing on your side, and what does it feel like as the client?
So for my clients, it can feel different for everybody. For me personally, when I'm in hypnosis, I feel heavier. My body feels heavier, but tingly and very comfortable. So if you've ever done a guided meditation or a very deep meditation on your own, you might have a very similar feeling when you're in hypnosis. The only difference is you're going to be hearing my voice during that time. So you may be wanting to be in this very, very deep, relaxing state, but I'm going to be asking your subconscious questions. So it's conversational hypnosis. So I'm asking you all these deep questions and you're answering me. If you don't have an answer, that's fine. We move on to another one. I don't want to force anything that's not there because we won't get anywhere. It'll just kind of close in on itself and we'll just be stuck. So that's never a good thing. But on my end, what I'm looking for is somebody who's in that relaxed state is going to have these very specific signs that I'm looking for. People go into different levels based on just their brain and the type of person they are, and also how many sessions they've done, their own meditative practice. There's a lot of different factors, and really healing can happen on any level because we're creating positive change in the brain. So if you and I were just meeting and having these conversations on a weekly basis, positive change would be happening. We would just be doing that in the conscious mind. So it would be taking a little longer. Like people that use positive affirmations every day, that's eventually going to work. It's just going to take a lot longer because you're going against this critical factor of the mind, is what it's called. And it's taking longer to embed itself into your subconscious. And if there's a belief in your subconscious that's overriding that positive affirmation, it's going to take even longer. So they say these affirmations for 21 days and you'll feel that. So if you're a woman like me who, wants to be beautiful and really believe that they're beautiful, and every day in the mirror, you're telling yourself, I'm beautiful, I'm worthy, I love myself. But then if in your childhood, that's not really what you taught and what you felt, and people were bullying you, and maybe a family member kind of instilled that that's not really the case, you're going to have this belief that you're fighting up against. So with hypnosis, we get to bypass that critical factor of the mind, is what it's called. And we get to actually go heal that root source, that problem. And we get to embed those basically positive affirmations. I call them hypnotic suggestions. That's just because of my job. But they're essentially the same thing. They're doing the same work and creating those new neural pathways in the brain, creating positive change, basically. So that was a long way of saying I'm looking for a lot of things on my end. I'm trying to get you into this relaxed state so it can be an alpha or a theta state, which is the prime state for healing. But some people that are newer to it are going to need a little more practice to get to a theta state. They might stay in alpha, but change can happen on either level. Hopefully it's just not this state you and I are in right now, this conscious waking state. It will take a lot longer.
To point to what Brittney is highlighting here with the brain states, guys, your brain at various points in the day is at different brain states, right? Different brain
waves, yep.
states, beta, alpha, theta, delta, and then gamma, I believe is the other one is.
Yep.
Right.
Yes.
And so when like this conscious active state right now, we're operating in the beta brainwave state. As you tend to relax more and you calm down, you center yourself, perhaps you're focusing on the breath, you're bringing attention back into you and your body, you're entering alpha, and you're kind of sinking in almost, it feels like, and that's where the body can tend to take on a heavier state, as you described. You're kind of relaxing into the moment, and then you sink deeper into theta. And what you're pointing to is it's in those two states there, alpha to theta, is where the subconscious lies and where this deep inner work is happening, and where you're embedding these affirmations. And what I'm hearing, Brittney, is that, and perhaps this is one of the, just a benefit perhaps of hypnosis, is that it happens and accelerates the healing journey faster because you're able to work directly at the root of the issue, as opposed to working within the context of the conscious mind. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
So it's accelerating your healing journey.
Yes. It's those two states and delta, basically, but you would be asleep if I had you in delta, so we would get very little work done. But those states is when the window or the door to your subconscious is open for us to do our healing work in. And that's why when people are like, I'm afraid of hypnosis, I don't want to do it, it's a very natural state that our body at least goes through twice a day. I like to point that out to people a lot. It happens when we're falling asleep at night. We're going through all these different brainwave states all the way down till we're asleep. And then when we're waking up in the morning, it does it at a more accelerated rate, but it happens. And one of my little tricks that I like to do with my clients is you know, when you're waking up in the morning, when they say, I don't have time to meditate in the morning, I say, do you hit your snooze button? And if they tell me, yeah, I do. Okay, well, when you hit your snooze button, sit up in bed and start a self-hypnosis or start meditating for that, you know, however long that snooze is. Is it 9 minutes on an iPhone? I think it's 9 minutes. And you're essentially, hopefully, going to still be in theta. So half of your work is already
Yeah,
done. That's like you're cheating right there, which is beautiful. So do that in the morning instead of falling back asleep and doing all that supposed damage it does that is going to put you back into a theta state and you're going to be more tired throughout the day. Just do this lovely little self hypnosis or meditation, make that part of your routine, and then you're going to be, you know, getting even closer to your goal. And
sure.
it's
And
just a easy thing to do.
what you're describing is a tried and true method. I've done it myself for many years because that taking advantage of natural, just integrating this into your daily life so it can become a natural way of how you go through your day. Really powerful way to like habit stack.
Yes.
Uh, anyway, thank you, Brittney, for just kind of sharing, your entire view on hypnosis and walking us through that. I really think that will be helpful for people who are new to this or just had a distorted view of what hypnosis is to have a more pure sense from a pure provider like you. So what I want to quickly switch to now is, your specific offerings and, just to talk about a bit of, the things that the services you provide. I know, and I really like your name of the first one, a microdose of hypnosis, I believe it's called. I just
Yeah.
think it's an amazing way to describe what you're offering, which appears or seems like is kind of a one-off session through
Yes.
which, you give people, a taste of what hypnosis can do for you, a quick hit, as you describe. Do you want to talk more about that and then, your other program as well?
Yeah, I mean, you described it beautifully. That's basically what it is. And like I mentioned before, people want to know what it feels like. They want to experience it, but maybe they aren't ready to commit to like my 30-day program. And there might be some apprehension around that. So this microdose of hypnosis, um, I felt clever when I made that. So thank you for pointing that out. But it is just letting you kind of experience that, sink into it. And even though we're not doing a lot of deep healing, there's still a lot of benefits that come from it. And I give you little things that you can leave with to try at home on your own, to integrate into your life, to start making these positive changes. So it's not just like, come and see me for 45 minutes, try this, and you won't ever see me again. Like, I genuinely want people to make these positive changes in their lives. So that's what that one is. And I have a 30-day program that I do with my clients that's Mindset Reset. And that is a more intensive program for my brave clients out
Mhm.
there that want to really dig deep and heal these core issues that happened, and not only in childhood, but you know, things can happen all throughout our lives that we need to go back and heal each one of those. And we're able to do that with these multiple sessions and longer sessions together. And I love this program so much because there's just a ton of support. They have access to me every single day. And
Mhm.
that's one thing that I missed with a few of the other healing programs that I went through personally. Was there was a lot of great videos, it was great meeting with people, but there was just kind of a disconnect in when I felt like I needed support in that moment. I wasn't able to reach somebody. So that's what this is. It's just an added level. Not saying that there aren't those people out there. I just didn't meet them personally.
Sure.
So this is just an added level of support to make sure that you have somebody with you through this healing journey. If you have questions, if you just need to talk through emotions that came up after a session, anything like that, I'm here for you. And, you know, there's a lot of I don't like to call them not a lot either. There's worksheets that we work through. I haven't found a prettier name for a worksheet yet, but I'm workshopping that right now. But it's just very self-reflective. So it's another level of digging deeper for those people who are maybe having a hard time finding what's underneath the surface. So that's why I created those. And I really love that. I do have one more that was just added, and it's conscious conversation.
Ooh.
And it's empathic. Thank you. It's empathic listening with an energetic release. And I really created it for starting out my healing journey. I wouldn't have had the funds to work with a whole lot of people. So this one is just at a very reasonable price for people to be able to work with me, to be able to talk through some of these issues, and then to release some of that stagnant energy that might be kind of intertwined around that issue. So that's where that came from.
Wow. Brilliant. Those are all,
Thank you.
love the range and the name, Conscious Conversations. It's seems very fitting and in line with the work that we're doing here. And yeah, just a, it seems like a really wonderful range of services that it covers the, the whole spectrum of hypnosis, and being able to really add genuine value to people's lives, healing quite truly and literally from the inside out. And just so excited that you are here, you're with us. We're doing this together to help grow your practice and support your endeavors through this. I know that for the Awakenpedia community exclusively, that you have a couple fun little discounts and promos that you're gonna be offering, which will be housed in the member form, as they are now, which Awakenpedians will be able to enjoy the benefit of. And thank you for offering those, by the way.
Yeah.
Very thank you for that. But yeah, I think, and by the way, it's getting darker outside. So that's why it looks like it's getting dark. It's not like some ominous filter that's coming over. It's
a seance right now, which I'm here for, so
yeah.
we can do it.
Yeah. So the sun is setting. But we're about to wrap up anyway. And that's really all I had, Brittney. Just wanted to introduce you to the community, to those who tuned in. Brittney is a new partner for Awakenpedia, focused on hypnosis and working with your subconscious mind to help you rewire it for the better. And she will be is profiled in our member forum, which you can check out. And yeah, just Brittney, so excited about you. For someone who you said is not good at public speaking, you spoke beautifully and
Oh, thank
eloquently.
you.
Yeah, it was a joy to talk to you and listen.
I really enjoyed it. Thank you very, very much. You made me very relaxed very quickly, so I appreciate that. And any future lives I do, I'll just make sure you're there with me. I'm sure you're always available, right? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, awesome.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Brittney, and thank you guys for tuning in. Brittney, we'll be talking soon.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.